Okay, it's day 120. This is part 3. And you've probably all seen this video already, the second shooter video. Basically, this gal saying she was with one of the Nicholas Cruzes and then she was hearing shooting on the other side of the school. I'll play it for you really quickly.
And I came back to my classroom and I knocked on the door and the fire alarm went off and principal came on the speaker and just said everyone needs to evacuate right now. So that's what we did. As I was going down the stairs, I heard a couple shots fired. Everyone was freaking out, saying that it was a gun. And as we were walking, the whole class together, I actually was speaking to the suspect, Nicholas Cruz. And as I was speaking to him, he seemed very, I don't know what the word I want to say is, but he was trouble in middle school, so I kind of joked to him about it and said, I'm surprised you weren't the one who did it. And he just gave me a huh? So that's really what happened.
You were walking down the hall, he had already fired at that time.
Yes, sir, with him.
Weren't you scared?
In the moment I wasn't, because there was obviously definitely another shooter involved, but...
Oh, you think he was not the only one?
No, definitely not.
Why do you say that?
Because when shots were fired, I saw him after the fact. So, and the shots were coming from the other part of the building. So there definitely had to be two shooters involved, I believe.
That's the first I've heard of that. Did you see any other students who were wounded?
No, sir.
So there you go. And now I'm not saying that this other Nicholas Jacob Cruz is that other shooter. I'm not saying that at all. Now that is odd that Nicholas Jacob Cruz is another Nicholas Jacob Cruz was also in Parkland, Florida. I think at the same time, but I'm not implicating Nicholas Jacob Cruz, the other Nicholas Jacob Cruz, at all. What I am saying, though, is in any kind of Army team, and sometimes a quartermaster is a cover, so this is not related to the second Nicholas Jacob Cruz at all. But what I'm saying is a lot of times you'll use a cover, like for something like, let's say I had an Odin group at Fort Hood, and I was going to send out folks and infiltrate across the country with red teams. They call them red teams. I would send them to places like Central Texas College in Bethesda, Maryland, and they would get quartermaster training, but then they could also get special forces type training as well. And that way you would have special forces in different spots where you may have trouble spots. They used to call those trouble spots, right? So I'm not saying that this Nicholas Jacob Cruz in any way, shape, or form is that kind of person from the Odin group in from Fort Hood in Texas. Not at all. But I'm just saying if you did have a team, you would have the Aspy type kid buy the weapons for your team. Let's say you're the Tsarnaevs in Boston. You would have 3 or 4 people on the red team, but then you would also have an Aspy kid with the same name. And again, there may be 5, 6, 7 people that use this identity. You don't know. So that's why I want to make sure I say that this Nicholas Jacob Cruz has nothing to do with the other Nicholas Jacob Cruz. But you would always, I mean, alphabet rules, you'd always have the Aspy kid buy the weapons and actually take the weapons to the site. So that's where I was just trying to get to. And if you were trying to clean up a situation, right, which is, let's say, like the girls at Club Mar-a-Lago, you would have the Army quartermaster, the trained kid from Fort Hood, you would have that kid go in and get those 5, and then you would have the Aspy kid go after, random folks. And so that way at the end of it you would just say, hey, this is a weird Aspy kid that shot a whole bunch of random people, and you'd still be able to get your 5 or 6 that were in the ring in the same go.